Alrighty, what is up CaliUnity? Today we're going to talk about getting your first L sit. So I've actually just gone through the support hold video and I've actually kept up on the board 3 of the most important things, because the support hold is the foundational movement to get your first L sit. If you can't hold yourself on, let's say on the bar, shoulders down, elbows locked, core engaged, hands in for 30 seconds, you should not even be trying your L sit yet. You can still work on your compressions. If you're a Cali member, you know what I mean. You should still be working on your compressions, that's absolutely fine, but you should be unlocking basically this and your support hold first before you go for the L sit, okay? Cool, let's actually get into the L sit. So why does the L sit even work? What are like the mechanics of an L sit? So when you look at this from like the side angle, what you're basically doing is your center of mass needs to be under the base of support. So when you're doing a support hold and you're like this, you're basically like this pen, right? It balances when it's upright. Yeah, very, very simple. Okay, cool. But when I extend my legs out, my center of mass moves from my belly button, like basically here, forwards. And so what I have to now do is so the center of mass has to be under the base support, right? That's why you feel like you can't get lift. You have to basically get your body back behind the base of support, or shift the hips back or something to get it in line with the base of support so that you actually get that lift coming up, okay? That's it, really simple. Bam, you've unlocked your L sit. No, I'm joking, right? What we have to do is we have to basically get our body back further with doing the L sit, because we're extending out that leverage. Now, how do you get your center of mass backwards? Great question. There are 2 ways of basically doing this: compression and strength in your triceps and upper body. Let's go through both. I'm more of a strength dominant person rather than mobility. I'm working on my mobility, but I got my L sit because of strength. The way that I did that is, think of a support hold, right, when I'm here. If I lean back, notice what happens to my hip angle. We'll do it over here on this one. If I lean back, notice what happens, right? My hip angle, here I'll put this pen in like by the angle. If I lean back, look what happens, right? This part comes up. And so if my legs are straight and they're off the floor and I'm leaning back, that allows me to get my legs off the floor without having this incredible like compression strength. But the other way of doing it is by just having better compression ability, to actually being able to pull your knees and your feet up to your head so you can feel that compression. Because theoretically, if you do it correctly and you squeeze your hips back so your base of support is behind the ring, and you're so strong that you can actually lift your legs off the floor to there, you can do your L sit. You don't even need to have the tricep strength to lean back, right? So that's why there's kind of 2 paths. The way that I do it, work on both. Do both. Work on getting your tricep strength and your shoulder strength strong in that support hold so you can come back. I really like working on rings for this, so holding the rings, being able to like move forwards and back, being able to like lift back and up. Maybe working on bringing your knees up into almost like a tuck knee hold on the rings, and then also work on your compression strength too. So we'll go through how to do both of these. That's just like an overview of like how the L sit actually works. But what you're basically mainly doing is you're mainly working the front part of your body, okay, called your anterior chain, and you're learning how to lock it all into place so that when you actually do that L sit, it doesn't fold out from there. It's learning to keep it all compressed, all in and squeezed, so we can hold that position while we're leaning back. There's primary and secondary kind of movers and muscles that get used for the L sit. The main ones you're going to be using are the long head of your tricep, which is basically this one here. Okay, so the long head of the tricep. You're also going to be using your upper back, so think about like your rhomboids to kind of pull you back, and then you're also going to be using your core and your hip flexors quite a lot. Secondary, you're gonna get a lot of chest activation, lat activation, general kind of like core tension as well, maybe even a bit in your calves from pointing your toes, and your hip flexors in general from squeezing, okay? Now, it's a three-step process that I use to actually get into the L sit. Number one is you sit on the floor with your hands by your side with your legs out straight. You're gonna put your hands down on the side of your hips, ideally like slightly in front of your hips, and you're gonna hulk. You're gonna do exactly the same thing that you would do in a support hold. Elbows locked, protraction, arms, hands in. Long story short, you're gonna hulk. You're gonna have your shoulders down and squeezed, okay? That should bring your hips off the floor. If your hips don't come off the floor, you might just have short arms. I've got really long arms, so it's easy for me, but you might just have short arms, absolutely fine. Get some parallettes, get some books, get something that can basically extend your arms longer so that you can get your hips about like, almost like a foot off the floor, which would be really good. The more off the floor you are here, the easier the L sit will be because the angle of your legs will be less extreme, okay? And so it'd be really, really good for you if you've done this process and you can't get the L sit, just come further off the floor. That's the easy way of doing it, okay? Next step is then to slide your hips back behind your hands, okay? So I'm in that L sit, I'm in the position on the floor, my hands are by my side, I'm tucked and squeezed in, my chest is engaged, my arms are locked, my shoulders are engaged, I scoot my hips back. You should feel your core engaging when you do this. You're almost like you're squeezing your ribs down and your core is engaged. And the last thing you want to do is activate your legs, squeeze them up to your head, and you lean back at the same time. So almost like if I do it on this camera here, it's here, my legs are out there, imagine, I'm going down, in, hips, back. That's the feeling that you kind of want when you're doing this, okay? And you should feel your triceps and your hip flexors firing like mad. Now, I would recommend filming you from the side angle or getting a friend to watch you and just looking at this and going, okay, where does it look like if I compare this video, which is me doing it, the hulk, the hips back, lean back, hold, compared to your video that you're doing? Are you finding that the legs are at a different angle to me? Are you finding that you can't lean back as far as me? If you can't lean back enough, you need to work more on your support hold and maybe on the rings and working on more of the tricep strength to hold you there. If your legs aren't coming up as high as mine, you need to be working on your compression strength, which is basically compressions. So the best movement for this is in that same L sit position, you bring your legs out in front of you, you're gonna bring your hands as far forward as you can on either side of your knees, your quads are squeezed, your toes are pointed, you round your upper back, you go forward as far as you can, you place your hands as far forward as you can, you keep walking forwards, and then you lift both your legs up, squeezing deep into the hip flexors and the core, okay? So you keep doing that, maybe you rep them, maybe you hold, you're just gonna do more reps of these. If you cramp, you're doing it really, really well, and that's gonna be working on your compression strength. Now, let's say you wanna break this down into more kind of steps. A nice way of doing it is, first off, you master the support hold. Maybe you can get that for 30 seconds, even 60 seconds, so a minute, really working on that. Then maybe you start working on your tuck L sit on those high bars, or maybe on the low bars or the parallettes. Can you work on getting that tuck, that compression in your chest? Your arms are squeezed, maybe you're leaning back a little bit so you can open that hip ankle more. Maybe then from there, rather than being tucked, maybe you extend one leg out and you're holding that. Can you hold that for 5 to 10 seconds? Once you start getting that good, maybe you can switch the legs. Maybe eventually you can work on both legs out, and then maybe you try that drill that I did before, where the 3-step process, round the shoulders, hips back, leaning up, and then going from there, okay? So that is the L sit. There's this kind of like a crash course into the L sit for getting you there for the first time. From here though, it's very simple. Keep compressing more and keep leaning back, and you're gonna be working on things like the V-sit, and then once you've got the V-sit, you have to actually turn the hands out, so your elbow pits are facing forward, your hands are facing back. Then you can start working on movements like the manna, which is something that I'm working on in a minute. Crazy stuff, okay? So just to know the future progressions. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit like so I know that you're enjoying these videos and that I should make more. If you have any comments or questions on getting your first LSAT, leave them in the comments below. I get back to all of the comments and questions on the CaliUnity YouTube. If you know someone else who's working on their first LSAT, maybe they need a Hulk, maybe they need more protraction, hey, send them this video. It's completely free. You can share the knowledge with them and you can help them out as well. And if you want more resources, completely free health education, accessible to everyone for free online, click subscribe. You have access to all the videos here on the CaliUnity channel completely for free. We're taking the lessons that we learn from our world-class facility CaliUnity in Bath and putting it online for free to help everyone online, specifically people that don't like the gym but still want to get gym results, like getting mobile, toned and strong without necessarily going to a traditional gym environment because they feel intimidated, they don't know what they're doing. You guys can do this from home. It's completely free. There is no excuse to get your first LSAT. You literally need no equipment and it's going to tone your core, it's going to increase your compression strength, it's going to help with hip pain, it's going to help with lower back pain. It is an incredible movement. So best of luck on your LSAT journey. Any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to help and I'll see you guys in the next video.